Okay, so another day, another stream of this out. Cause why not? This is gonna be a very good one. I think I got some loads of good ideas for this. It's gonna be so fun. I love looking at this room, it's big. Anyway, so I'm on floor 4 building this. I want to finish floor this stream, but let me see how that goes. Oh, I missed that.
Presents an unabridged recorded books presents an unabridged recording of A Separate Piece by John Knowles, narrated by Spike McClure.
Chapter 1. I went back to the Devon school not long ago and found it looking oddly newer than when I was a student there 15 years before. It seemed more sedate than I remembered it, more perpendicular and straight-laced, with narrower windows and shinier woodwork, as though a coat of varnish had been put over everything for better preservation. But, of course, 15 years before, there had been a war going on. Perhaps the school wasn't as well kept up in those days. Perhaps varnish, along with everything else, had gone to war. I didn't entirely like this glossy new surface, because it made the school look like a museum, and that's exactly what it was to me, and what I didn't want it to be. In the deep, tacit way in which feeling becomes stronger than thought, I'd always felt that the Devon School came into existence the day I entered it, was vibrantly real while I was a student there, and then blinked out like a candle the day I left. Now here it was after all, preserved by some considerate hand with varnish and wax, preserved along with it, like stale air in an unopened room, was the well-known fear which surrounded and filled those days, so much of it that I hadn't even known it was there. Because unfamiliar with the absence of fear and what that was like, I'd not been able to identify its presence. Looking back now across 15 years, I could see with great clarity the fear I'd lived in, which must mean that in the interval, I'd succeeded in a very important undertaking. I must have made my escape from it. I felt fear's echo, and along with that, I felt the unhinged, uncontrollable joy which had been its accompaniment and opposite face. Joy which had broken out sometimes in those days, like northern lights across black sky. There were a couple of places now which I wanted to see. Both were fearful sights, and that's why I wanted to see them. So after lunch at the Devon Inn, I walked back toward the school. It was a raw, nondescript time of year, toward the end of November, the kind of wet, self-pitying November day when every speck of dirt stands out clearly. Devon luckily had very little of such weather. The icy clamp of winter or the radiant New Hampshire summers were more characteristic of it. But this day it blew wet, moody gusts all around me. I walked along Gilman Street, the best street in town. The houses were as handsome and as unusual as I remembered. Clever modernizations of old colonial manses, extensions in Victorian wood, capacious Greek Revival temples lined the street, as impressive and just as forbidding as ever. I'd rarely seen anyone go into one of them, or anyone playing on a lawn, or even an open window. Today, with their failing ivy and stripped, moaning trees, the houses looked both more elegant and more lifeless than ever. Like all old good schools, Devon didn't stand isolated behind walls and gates, but emerged naturally from the town which...
What? What?
Times in those days, like northern lights across black sky. There were a couple of places now which I wanted to see. Both were fearful sights, and that's why I wanted to see them. So after lunch at the Devon Inn, I walked back toward the school. It was a raw, nondescript time of year, toward the end of November. The kind of wet, self-pitying November day when every speck of dirt stands out clearly. Devon, luckily, had very little of such weather. The icy clamp of winter or the radiant New Hampshire summers were more characteristic of it. But this day it blew wet, moody gusts all around me. I walked along Gilman Street, the best street in town. The houses were as handsome and as unusual as I remembered. Clever modernizations of old colonial manses, extensions in Victorian wood, capacious Greek Revival temples lined the street, as impressive and just as forbidding as ever. I'd rarely seen anyone go into one of them, or anyone playing on a lawn, or even an open window. Today, with their failing ivy and stripped, moaning trees, the houses looked both more elegant and more lifeless than ever. Like all old good schools, Devon didn't stand isolated behind walls and gates, but emerged naturally from the town which had produced it. So there was no sudden moment of encounter as I approached it. The houses along Gilman Street began to look more defensive, which meant that I was near the school, then more exhausted, which meant that I was in it. It was early afternoon, and the grounds and buildings were deserted, since everyone was at sports. There was nothing to distract me as I made my way across a wide yard, called the Far Commons, and up to a building as red brick and balanced as the other major buildings, but with a large cupola and a bell and a clock and Latin over the doorway. The First Academy building. In through swinging doors, I reached a marble foyer and stopped at the foot of a long white marble flight of stairs. Although they were old stairs, the worn moons in the middle of each step were not very deep. The marble must be unusually hard. That seemed very likely, only too likely, although with all my thought about these stairs, this exceptional hardness hadn't occurred to me. It was surprising that I had overlooked that crucial fact. There was nothing else to notice. They, of course, were the same stairs I had walked up and down at least once every day of my Devon life. They were the same as ever. And I? Well, I naturally felt older. I began at that point the emotional examination to note how far my convalescence had gone. I was taller, bigger generally in relation to these stairs. I had more money and success and security than in the days when specters seemed to go up and down them with me. I turned away and went back outside. The Far Common was still empty, and I walked alone down the wide gravel paths among those most Republican, bankerish of trees, New England elms, toward the far side of the school. Devon is sometimes considered the most beautiful school in New England, and even on this dismal afternoon, its power was asserted. It's the beauty of small areas of order, a large yard, a group of trees, 3 similar dormitories, a circle of old houses, living together in contentious harmony. You felt that an argument might begin again any time. In fact, it had. Out of the dean's residence, a pure and authentic colonial house, there now sprouted an L with a big bare picture window. Someday the dean would probably live entirely encased in a house of glass and be happy as a sandpiper. Everything at Devon slowly changed and slowly harmonized with what had gone before. So it was logical to hope that since the buildings and the deans and the curriculum could achieve this, I could achieve, perhaps unknowingly already had achieved, this growth and harmony myself. I'd know more about that when I'd seen the second place I'd come to see. So I roamed on past the balanced red brick dormitories with webs of leafless ivy clinging to them, through a ramshackle salient of the town which invaded the school for 100 yards, past the solid gymnasium, full of students at this hour but silent as a monument on the outside, past the field house, called the Cage. I remembered now what a mystery references to the cage had been during my first weeks at Devon. I'd thought it must be a place of severe punishment. And I reached the huge open sweep of ground, known as the playing fields. Devon was both scholarly and very athletic, so the playing fields were vast and, except at such a time of year, constantly in use. Now they reached soggily and emptily away from me. Forlorn tennis courts on the left, enormous football and soccer and lacrosse fields in the center, woods on the right, and at the far end, a small river detectable from this distance by the few bare trees along its banks. It was such a gray and misty day that I couldn't see the other side of the river, where there was a small stadium. I started the long trudge across the fields, and had gone some distance before I paid any attention to the soft and muddy ground which was dooming my city shoes. I didn't stop. Near the center of the fields, there were thin lakes of muddy water which I had to make my way around, my unrecognizable shoes making obscene noises as I lifted them out of the mire. With nothing to block it, the wind flung wet gusts at me. At any other time, I would have felt like a fool slogging through mud and rain, only to look at a tree. A little fog hung over the river, so that as I neared it, I felt myself becoming isolated from everything except the river and the few trees beside it. The wind was blowing more steadily here, and I was beginning to feel cold. I never wore a hat, and had forgotten gloves. There were several trees bleakly reaching into the fog. Any one of them might have been the one I was looking for. Unbelievable that there were other trees which looked like it here. It had loomed in my memory as a huge, lone spike, dominating the riverbank, forbidding as an artillery piece, high as the beanstalk. Yet here was a scattered grove of trees, none of them of any particular grandeur. Moving through the soaked, coarse grass, I began to examine each one closely, and finally identified the tree I was looking for by means of certain small scars rising along its trunk, and by a limb extending over the river, and another thinner limb growing near it. This was the tree, and it seemed to me, standing there, to resemble those men, the giants of your childhood, whom you encounter years later and find that they're not merely smaller in relation to your growth, but that they are absolutely smaller, shrunken by age. In this double demotion, the old giants have become pygmies while you were looking the other way. The tree was not only stripped by the cold season, it seemed weary from age, enfeebled, dry. I was thankful, very thankful, that I had seen it. So the more things remain the same, the more they change after all. Plus c'est la même chose, plus ça change. Nothing endures. Not a tree, not love, not even a death by violence. Changed, I headed back through the mud. I was drenched. Anybody could see it was time to come in out of the rain. The tree was tremendous, an irate, steely black steeple beside the river. I was damned if I'd climb it. The hell with it. No one but Phineas could think up such a crazy idea. He, of course, saw nothing the slightest bit intimidating about it. He wouldn't, or wouldn't admit it if he did. Not Phineas. What I like best about this tree he said in that voice of his, the equivalent in sound of a hypnotist's eyes. "What I like is that it's such a cinch." He opened his green eyes wider and gave us his maniac look, and only the smirk on his wide mouth, with its droll, slightly protruding upper lip, reassured us that he wasn't completely goofy. "Is that what you like best?" I said sarcastically. I said a lot of things sarcastically that summer. That was my sarcastic summer, 1942. Yeah, he said. This weird New England affirmative always made me laugh, as Finney knew, so I had to laugh, which made me feel less sarcastic and less scared. There were 3 others with us. Phineas, in those days, almost always moved in groups the size of a hockey team, and they stood with me, looking with masked apprehension from him to the tree. Its soaring black trunk was set with rough wooden pegs, leading up to a substantial limb which extended farther toward the water. Standing on this limb, you could, by a prodigious effort, jump far enough out into the river for safety. So we had heard. At least the 17-year-old bunch could do it, but they had a crucial year's advantage over us. No upper middler, which was the name for our class in the Devon school, had ever tried. Naturally, Finney was going to be the first to try. And just as naturally, he was going to inveigle others, us, into trying it with him. We weren't even upper middler exactly, for this was the summer session, just established to keep up with the pace of the war. We were in shaky transit that summer, from the groveling status of lower middlers to the near respectability of upper middlers. The class above, seniors, draft bait, practically soldiers, rushed ahead of us toward the war. They were caught up in accelerated courses and first aid programs and a physical hardening regimen, which included jumping from this tree. We were still calmly, numbly reading Virgil and playing tag in the river farther downstream, until Finney thought of the tree. We stood looking up at it, 4 looks of consternation, 1 of excitement. "Do you want to go first?" Finney asked us rhetorically. We just looked quietly back at him, and so he began taking off his clothes, stripping down to his underpants.
What am I
For such an extraordinary athlete, even as a lower middler, Phineas had been the best athlete in the school. He wasn't spectacularly built. He was my height, 5 feet 8.5 inches. I'd been claiming 5 feet 9 inches before he became my roommate, but he'd said in public with that simple, shocking self-acceptance of his, "No, you're the same height I am, 5 feet 8.5. We're on the short side." He weighed 150 pounds, a galling 10 pounds more than I did, which flowed from his legs to torso, around shoulders to arms and full strong neck, in an uninterrupted, unemphatic unity of strength. He began scrambling up the wooden pegs nailed to the side of the tree, his back muscles working like a panther's. The pegs didn't seem strong enough to hold his weight. At last, he stepped onto the branch, which reached a little farther toward the water. "Is this the one they jump from?" None of us knew. "If I do it, you're all going to do it, aren't you?" We didn't say anything very clearly. "Well," he cried out, "here's my contribution to the war effort," and he sprang out, fell through the tops of some lower branches, and smashed into the water. "Great!" he said, bobbing instantly to the surface again, his wet hair plastered in droll bangs on his forehead. "That's the most fun I've had this week. Who's next?"
Nice.
I was. This tree flooded me with a sensation of alarm, all the way to my tingling fingers. My head began to feel unnaturally light, and the vague rustling sounds from the nearby woods came to me as though muffled and filtered. I must have been entering a mild state of shock. Insulated by this, I took off my clothes and started to climb the pegs. I don't remember saying anything. The branch he'd jumped from was slenderer than it looked from the ground, and much higher. It was impossible to walk out on it far enough to be well over the river. I would have to spring far out or risk falling into the shallow water next to the bank. "Come on," drawled Finney from below. "Stop standing there showing off." I recognized with automatic tenseness that the view was very impressive from here. "When they torpedo the troop ship," he shouted, "you can't stand around admiring the view. Jump!" What was I doing up here anyway? Why did I let Finney talk me into stupid things like this? Was he getting some kind of hold over me?
Yo.
Jump! With the sensation that I was throwing my life away, I jumped into space. Some tips of branches snapped past me, and then I crashed into the water. My legs hit the soft mud of the bottom, and immediately I was on the surface being congratulated. I felt fine. "I think that was better than Finney's," said Elwyn, better known as Leper, Lepellier, who was bidding for an ally in the dispute he foresaw. "All right, pal," Finney spoke in his cordial, penetrating voice, that reverberant instrument in his chest. "Don't start awarding prizes until you've passed the course. The tree is waiting." Leper closed his mouth as though forever. He didn't argue or refuse. He didn't back away. He became inanimate. But the other two, Chet Douglas and Bobby Zane, were vocal enough, complaining shrilly about school regulations, the danger of stomach cramps, physical disabilities they'd never mentioned before. "It's you, pal," Finney said to me at last. "Just you and me." He and I started back across the fields, preceding the others like two seigneurs. We were the best of friends at that moment. "You were very good," said Finney good-humoredly, "once I shamed you into it." "You didn't shame anybody into anything."
Yo.
"Oh, yes, I did. I'm good for you that way. You have a tendency to back away from things otherwise." "I never backed away from anything in my life," I cried, my indignation at this charge naturally stronger because it was so true. "You're goofy." Finney just walked serenely on, or rather flowed on, rolling forward in his white sneakers with such unthinking unity of movement that walk didn't describe it. I went along beside him across the enormous playing fields toward the gym. Underfoot, the healthy green turf was brushed with dew, and ahead of us we could see a faint green haze hanging above the grass, shot through with the twilight sun. Phineas stopped talking for once, so that now I could hear cricket noises and bird cries of dusk. A gymnasium truck gunning along an empty athletic road a quarter of a mile away. A burst of faint, isolated laughter carried to us from the back door of the gym. And then overall, cool and matriarchal, the 6 o'clock bell from the Academy building cupola. The calmest, most carrying bell toll in the world. Civilized, calm, invincible, and final. The toll sailed over the expansive tops of all the elms, the great slanting roofs and formidable chimneys of the dormitories, the narrow and brittle old housetops, across the open New Hampshire sky, to us coming back from the river. "We better hurry, or we'll be late for dinner," I said, breaking into what Finney called my West Point stride. Phineas didn't really dislike West Point in particular, or authority in general, but just considered authority the necessary evil against which happiness was achieved by reaction, the backboard which returned all the insults he threw at it. My West Point stride was intolerable. His right foot flashed into the middle of my fast walk, and I went pitching forward into the grass. "Get those 150 pounds off me," I shouted, because he was sitting on my back.
Nice.
Finney got up, patted my head genially, and moved on across the field, not deigning to glance around for my counterattack, but relying on his extrasensory ears, his ability to feel in the air someone coming on him from behind. As I sprang at him, he sidestepped easily, but I just managed to kick him as I shot past. He caught my leg, and there was a brief wrestling match on the turf which he won. "Better hurry," he said, "or they'll put you in the guardhouse." We were walking again faster. Bobby and Leper and Chet were urging us from ahead, for God's sake, to hurry up. And then Finney trapped me again in his strongest trap, that is, I suddenly became his collaborator. As we walked rapidly along, I abruptly resented the bell and my West Point stride and hurrying and conforming. Finney was right, and there was only one way to show him this. I threw my hip against his, catching him by surprise, and he was instantly down, definitely pleased. This was why he liked me so much. When I jumped on top of him, my knees on his chest, he couldn't ask for anything better. We struggled in some equality for a while, and then when we were sure we were too late for dinner, we broke off. He and I passed the gym and came on toward the first group of dormitories, which were dark and silent. There were only 200 of us at Devon in the summer, not enough to fill most of the school. We passed the sprawling headmaster's house, empty. He was doing something for the government in Washington. Past the chapel, empty again, used only for a short time in the mornings. Past the First Academy building, where there were some dim lights shining from a few of its many windows, masters at work in their classrooms there. Down a short slope into the broad and well-clipped common, on which light fell from the big surrounding Georgian buildings. A dozen boys were loafing there on the grass after dinner, and a kitchen rattle from the wing of one of the buildings accompanied their talk. The sky was darkening steadily, which brought up the lights in the dormitories and the old houses. A loud phonograph a long way off played Don't Sit Under the Apple Tree, rejected that, and played They're Either Too Young or Too Old, grew more ambitious with The Warsaw Concerto, mellower with The Nutcracker Suite, and then stopped. Finney and I went to our room. Under the yellow study lights, we read our Hardy assignments. I was halfway through Tess of the D'Urbervilles. He carried on his baffled struggle with Far From the Madding Crowd, amused that there should be people named Gabriel O. and Bathsheba Everdeen. Our illegal radio, turned too low to be intelligible, was broadcasting the news. Outside, there was a rustling early summer movement of the wind. The seniors, allowed out later than we were, came fairly quietly back as the bell sounded 10 stately times. Boys ambled past our door toward the bathroom, and there was a period of steadily pouring shower water. Then lights began to snap out all over the school. We undressed, and I put on some pajamas, but Phineas, who had heard they were unmilitary, didn't. There was the silence in which it was understood we were saying some prayers, and then that summer school day came to an end. Chapter 2.
Let me look this up first. Before I even read, before I even listen to chapters here. So now there's 11 chapters in this thing. Like, you just got to chapter 2. Like, what are we doing? Like, why was that a recommendation? I should probably check stream chat, right? It's definitely gotta be like at least one thing I did not respond to. So, hi guys, how are you doing? Guys liking the stream so far? I hope you are. So I'm having fun right now, because after I finish this book, I'm just gonna turn on some really good music and then start cooking, because, you know, I can't trust. So, what is going on? So, yes, Forrester returns to a school. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking was going on. Him returning to a school. Yes, I heard the word fear a lot in World War II. So, I wonder what country this guy was in, because, like, if this story is pertaining with World War II, then he had to be in a country that was participating in the war, or was affected by it in some way, shape, or form. So, So, okay, he visits 2 places that he closely associates with fear. Yes, the staircase, I know the staircase, but what was the second one? Oh yeah, the tree. Dude, why did he jump, like, on the tree? Like, what is he doing? Like, he just did some crazy stuff there. Like, he just jumped off the tree. Like, why? Like, there's just no need for that. It's so unnecessary. Like, in what universe did you need to do that? Like, there was none. Like, genuinely. What are you doing? Yeah, this guy's funny though. I'll say that. So I'll make this a wrap that goes to a button here. But that's not even evened out, which annoys me. So. I'll probably turn around and set this up backwards and just go over here. And that's a little bit too long, wait. Because I want the button to be like back here. Okay, so what I got from the story so far is that there's this guy who was apparently well, not a part of World War II, but was probably a civilian during World War II, and hold on, it's bad. I don't like that. I need to make it so that the button is like back here, because what's gonna happen is that I'm gonna make the button go back over here, and then this will be a timed button when I add it here, and it's gonna deactivate this part, and you just gotta go back here and do some gameplay, which will probably branch off to these areas, so I can then go up to 5. That's the plan. I think I can build that. Oh my god, that jumps hard. Hold on. That is not extreme. Wait a minute. That was so hard. Okay, so now I'm good. Yeah, that's good now. That's good now. Actually, if I move this up by a step. Oh my god. Can you watch this? Oh, you can. I didn't know that. Okay. Why are you able to watch that? And then the button's just gonna be like back here. What we got? And then you press it, go over. Probably not gonna hit this fading truss again, but okay, then it's just gonna be like, come on, trigger. And then we go off to this area. Okay, I know where to go. So this, and then I cover all this, and then go up to 5. So it fills up the entire floor. Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Right guys? That sound like a plan? Sounds like a plan, right guys? Like, I'm not tweaking. Like, trust me. Trust me. Dude, as soon as I finish listening to this, bro, I'm gonna turn on Blind Angel. It's just gonna be peak, man. Oh yeah, wait. I need to finish. So, yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Absence from dinner had been noticed. The following morning, the clean-washed shine of summer mornings in the North Country, Mr. Prudhomme stopped at our door. He was broad-shouldered, grave, and he wore a gray business suit. He didn't have the careless, almost British look of most of the Devon masters, because he was a substitute for the summer. He enforced such rules as he knew. Missing dinner was one of them. We had been swimming at the river, Finney explained. Then there had been the wrestling match, Then there was that sunset that anybody would want to watch. Then there'd been several friends we had to see on business. He rambled on, his voice soaring and plunging in its vibrant sound box, his eyes now and then widening to fire a flash of green across the room. Standing in the shadows, with the bright window behind him, he blazed with sunburned health. As Mr. Prudhomme looked at him and listened to the scatterbrained eloquence of his explanation, he could be seen rapidly losing his grip on sternness. "If you hadn't already missed 9 meals in the last 2 weeks," he broke in. But Finney pressed his advantage. Not because he wanted to be forgiven for missing the meal. That didn't interest him at all. He might have rather enjoyed the punishment if it was done in some novel and unknown way. He pressed his advantage because he saw that Mr. Prudhomme was pleased, won over in spite of himself. The master was slipping from his official position momentarily, and it was just possible, if Phineas pressed hard enough, that there might be a flow of simple, unregulated friendliness between them. And such flows were one of Finney's reasons for living. "The real reason, sir, was that we just had to jump out of that tree. You know that tree." I knew, Mr. Prudhomme must have known, Finney knew if he stopped to think, that jumping out of the tree was even more forbidden than missing a meal.
Oh
"We had to
my
do
God.
that, naturally,"
That was
he went
forbidden.
on, "because we're all getting ready for the war.
Okay.
What if they lower the draft age to 17? Jean and I are both going to be 17 at the end of the summer, which is a very convenient time since it's the start of the academic year and there's never any doubt about which class we should be in. Leper Lepellier is already 17, and if I'm not mistaken, he'll be draftable before the end of this next academic year, and so conceivably, he ought to have been in the class ahead. He ought to have been a senior now, if you see what I mean, so that he would have been graduated and been all set to be drafted. But we're all right. Jean and I are perfectly all right. There isn't any question that we are conforming in every possible way to everything that's happening and everything that's going to happen. It's all a question of birthdays, unless you want to be more specific and look at it from the sexual point of view, which I never cared to do myself, since it's a question of my mother and my father, and I never felt I wanted to think about their sexual lives too much. Everything he said was true and sincere. Finney always said what he happened to be thinking, and if this stunned people, then he was surprised. Mr. Prudhomme released his breath with a sort of amazed laugh, stared at Finney for a while, and that was all there was to it. This was the way the masters tended to treat us that summer. They seemed to be modifying their usual attitude of floating chronic disapproval. During the winter, most of them regarded anything unexpected in a student with suspicion, seeming to feel that anything we said or did was potentially illegal. Now, on these clear June days in New Hampshire, they appeared to uncoil. They seemed to believe that we were with them about half the time, and only spent the other half trying to make fools of them. A streak of tolerance was detectable. Finney decided that they were beginning to show commendable signs of maturity. It was partly his doing. The Devon faculty had never before experienced a student who combined a calm ignorance of the rules with a winning urge to be good, who seemed to love the school truly and deeply, and never more than when he was breaking the regulations. A model boy who was most comfortable in the truant's corner. The faculty threw up its hands over Phineas, and so loosened its grip on all of us. But there was another reason. I think we reminded them of what peace was like, we boys of 16. We were registered with no draft board. We had taken no physical examinations. No one had ever tested us for hernia or color blindness. Trick knees and punctured eardrums were minor complaints and not yet disabilities which would separate a few from the fate of the rest. We were careless and wild, and I suppose we could be thought of as a sign of the life the war was being fought to preserve. Anyway, they were more indulgent toward us than at any other time. They snapped at the heels of the seniors, driving and molding and arming them for the war. They noticed our games tolerantly. We reminded them of what peace was like, of lives which were not bound up with destruction. Phineas was the essence of this careless piece. Not that he was unconcerned about the war. After Mr. Prudhomme left, he began to dress. That is, he began reaching for whatever clothes were nearest, some of them mine. Then he stopped to consider and went over to the dresser. Out of one of the drawers he lifted a finely woven broadcloth shirt, carefully cut and very pink. "What's that thing?" "This is a tablecloth," he said out of the side of his mouth. "No, cut it out. What is it?" "This," he then answered with some pride, "is going to be my emblem. Ma sent it up last week. Did you ever see stuff like this? And a color like this? It doesn't even button all the way down. You have to pull it over your head, like this." "Over your head? Pink? It makes you look like a fairy." "Does it?"
Yo.
He used this preoccupied tone when he was thinking of something more interesting than what you had said. But his mind always recorded what was said and played it back to him when there was time. So as he was buttoning the high collar in front of the mirror, he said mildly, "I wonder what would happen if I looked like a fairy to everyone."
Oh.
"You're nuts." "Well, in case suitors begin clamoring at the door, you can tell them I'm wearing this as an emblem." He turned around to let me admire it. "I was reading in the paper that we bombed Central Europe for the first time the other day." Only someone who knew Phineas as well as I did could realize that he was not changing the subject. I waited quietly for him to make whatever fantastic connection there might be between this and his shirt. "Well, we've got to do something to celebrate. We haven't got a flag. We can't float Old Glory proudly out the window. So I'm going to wear this, as an emblem." He did wear it. No one else in the school could have done so without some risk of having it torn from his back. When the sternest of the summer sessions masters, old Mr. Patch Withers, came up to him after history class and asked about it, I watched his drawn but pink face become pinker with amusement as Finney politely explained the meaning of the shirt. It was hypnotism. I was beginning to see that Phineas could get away with anything. I couldn't help envying him that a little, which was perfectly normal. There was no harm in envying even your best friend, a little. In the afternoon, Mr. Patch Withers, who was substitute headmaster for the summer, offered the traditional term tea to the upper middle class. It was held in the deserted headmaster's house, and Mr. Patch Withers' wife trembled at every cup tinkle. We were in a kind of sun porch and conservatory combined, spacious and damp, and without many plants. Those there were had large, non-flowering stalks, with big, barbaric leaves. The chocolate-brown wicker furniture shot out menacing twigs, and 3 dozen of us stood tensely teetering our cups amid the wicker and leaves, trying not to sound as inane in our conversation with the 4 present masters and their wives as they sounded to us. Phineas had soaked and brushed his hair for the occasion. This gave his head a sleek look, which was contradicted by the surprised, honest expression which he wore on his face. His ears, I had never noticed before, were fairly small and set close to his head, and combined with his plastered hair, they now gave his bold nose and cheekbones the sharp look of a prowl. He alone talked easily. He discussed the bombing of Central Europe. No one else happened to have seen the story, and since Phineas could not recall exactly what target in which country had been hit, or whether it was the American, British, or even Russian Air Force which had hit it, or what day he read it in which newspaper, the discussion was one-sided. That didn't matter. It was the event which counted. But after a while, Finney felt he should carry the discussion to others. "I think we ought to bomb the daylights out of them as long as we don't hit any women or children or old people, don't you?" he was saying to Mrs. Patch Withers, perched nervously behind her urn. "Or hospitals," he went on. "And naturally no schools. Or churches." "We must also be careful about works of art," she put in, "if they are of permanent value." "A lot of nonsense," Mr. Patch Withers grumbled with a flushed face. "How do you expect our boys to be as precise as that thousands of feet up with bombs weighing tons? Look at what the Germans did to Amsterdam. Look at what they did to Coventry." "The Germans aren't the Central Europeans, dear," his wife said very gently. He didn't like being brought up short, but he seemed to be just able to bear it from his wife. After a temperamental pause, he said gruffly, "There isn't any permanent art in Central Europe anyway." Finney was enjoying this. He unbuttoned his seersucker jacket as though he needed greater body freedom for the discussion. Mrs. Patchwither's glance then happened to fall on his belt. In a tentative voice, she said, "Isn't that Her husband looked. I panicked. In his haste that morning, Finney had not unexpectedly used a tie for a belt. But this morning, the first tie at hand had been the Devon school tie. This time he wasn't going to get away with it. I could feel myself becoming unexpectedly excited at that. Mr. Patchwither's face was reaching a brilliant shade, and his wife's head fell as though before the guillotine. Even Finney seemed to color a little, unless it was a reflection from his pink shirt. But his expression was composed, and he said in his resonant voice, "I wore this, you see, because it goes with the shirt, and it all ties in together. I didn't mean that to be a pun. I don't think they're very funny, especially in polite company. Do you? It all ties in together with what we've been talking about, this bombing in Central Europe. Because when you come right down to it, the school is involved in everything that happens in the war. It's all the same war and the same world, and I think Devon ought to be included. I don't know whether you think the way I do on that." Mr. Patchwither's face had been shifting expressions and changing colors continuously, and now it settled into fixed surprise. "I've never heard anything so illogical as that in my life." He didn't sound very indignant, though. "That's probably the strangest tribute this school has had in 160 years. He seemed pleased, or amused in some unknown corner of his mind.
He got away with that.
Phineas was going to get away with even this.
Yo.
His eyes gave their wider, magical gleam, and his voice continued on a more compelling level. Although I have to admit, I didn't think of that when I put it on this morning. He smiled pleasantly after supplying this interesting additional information. Mr. Patchwither settled into a hearty silence at this, and so Finney added, "I'm glad I put on something for a belt. I certainly would hate the embarrassment of having my pants fall down at the headmaster's tea. Of course he isn't here, but
true.
It would be just as embarrassing in front of you and Mrs. Patchwither's." And he smiled politely down at her. Mr. Patchwither's laughter surprised us all, including himself. His face, whose shades we had often labeled, now achieved a new one. Phineas was very happy. Sour and stern Mr. Patchwithers had been given a good laugh for once, and he had done it. He broke into the charmed, thoughtless grin of a man fulfilled. He had gotten away with everything. I felt a sudden stab of disappointment. That was because I just wanted to see some more excitement. That must have been it. We left the party, both of us feeling fine. I laughed along with Finney, my best friend, and also unique, able to get away with anything at all. And not because he was a conniver either, I was sure of that.
That's crazy.
He got away with everything because of the extraordinary kind of person he was. It was quite a compliment to me, as a matter of fact, to have such a person choose me for his best friend. Finney never left anything alone. Not when it was well enough. Not when it was perfect. "Let's go jump in the river," he said under his breath as we went out of the sun porch. He forced compliance by leaning against me as we walked along, changing my direction. Like a police car squeezing me to the side of the road, he directed me unwillingly toward the gym and the river. "We need to clear our heads of that party," he said. "All that talk." Yeah, it sure was boring. Who did most of the talking, anyway? Finney concentrated. Mr. Patchwithers was pretty gassy, and his wife, and... Yeah, and... Turning a look of mock shock on me. "You don't mean to infer that I talk too much?" Returning with interest, his gaping shock. "You talk too much? How can you accuse me of accusing you of that?" As I said, this was my sarcastic summer. It was only long after that I recognized sarcasm as the protest of people who are weak. We walked along through the shining afternoon to the river. "I don't really believe we bombed Central Europe. Do you?" said Finney thoughtfully. The dormitories we passed were massive and almost anonymous behind their thick layers of ivy. Big, old-looking leaves you would have thought stayed there winter and summer, permanent hanging gardens in New Hampshire. Between the buildings, elms curved so high you ceased to remember their height until you looked above the familiar trunks and the lowest umbrellas of leaves, and took in the lofty complex they held high above. Branches and branches of branches, a world of branches with an infinity of leaves. They too seemed permanent and never changing, an untouched, unreachable world high in space, like the ornamental towers and spires of a great church, too high to be enjoyed, too high for anything, great and remote and never useful. "No, I don't think I believe it either," I answered. Far ahead of us, 4 boys looking like white flags on the endless green playing fields crossed toward the tennis courts. To the right of them, the gym meditated behind its gray walls, the high, wide, oval-topped windows shining back at the sun. Beyond the gym and the fields began the woods, the Devon School's woods, which in my imagination were the beginning of the great northern forests. I thought that from the Devon woods, trees reached in an unbroken, widening corridor so far to the north that no one had ever seen the other end, somewhere up in the far unorganized tips of Canada. We seemed to be playing on the tame fringe of the last and greatest wilderness. I never found out whether this is so, and perhaps it is. Bombs in Central Europe were completely unreal to us here, not because we couldn't imagine it. 1,000 newspaper photographs and newsreels had given us a pretty accurate idea of such a sight, but because our place here was too fair for us to accept something like that. We spent that summer in complete selfishness, I'm happy to say. The people in the world who could be selfish in the summer of 1942 were a small band, and I'm glad we took advantage of it. "The first person who says anything unpleasant will get a swift kick in the ass," said Finney reflectively as we came to the river. "All right. Are you still afraid to jump out of that tree?" "There's something unpleasant about that question, isn't there?" "That question? No, of course not. It depends on how you answer it." "Afraid to jump out of that tree? I expect it'll be a very pleasant jump." After we had swum around in the water for a while, Finney said, "Will you do me the pleasure of jumping out of that tree first?" "My pleasure." Rigid, I began climbing the rungs, slightly reassured by having Finney right behind me. "We'll jump together to cement our partnership," he said. "We'll form a suicide society, and the membership requirement is 1 jump out of this tree." "A suicide society," I said stiffly. "The suicide society of the summer session." "Good! The super suicide society of the summer session. How's that?" "That's fine. That's okay."
Okay.
We were standing on a limb, I a little farther out than Finney. I turned to say something else, some stalling remark, something to delay even a few seconds more, and then I realized that in turning I had begun to lose my balance. There was a moment of total, impersonal panic, and then Finney's hand shot out and grabbed my arm. And with my balance restored, the panic immediately disappeared. I turned back toward the river, moved a few more steps along the limb, sprang far out, and fell into the deep water. Finney also made a good jump, and the Super Suicide Society of the summer session was officially established. It was only after dinner, when I was on my way alone to the library, that the full danger I had brushed on the limb shook me again. If Finney hadn't come up right behind me, if he hadn't been there, I could have fallen on the bank and broken my back. If I had fallen awkwardly enough, I could have been killed. Finney had practically saved my life. Chapter 3.
Oh my god, there's only 3 chapters, man. Oh, bro. What the mango? What's the mango? So literally only 3 chapters, dude. What the mango? Okay, it is pretty fast read. My teacher was right about that. Being like a fairly fast read though. That's what she told me it was gonna be. And it was. So, I'm just gonna make that jump tiny, but now I think about it, it's kind of bad to do it. Oh, that's tight. Okay, so I think that's good. Or not. Never mind. Bruh. Yeah, it's too easy. I don't like that. Okay. Oh, I know what I need to do. I need to do like this. Let's move that down first. Actually, I need to do that. So I'll make this go in a little bit. That's annoying. It's like so. I'm gonna shrink that. I don't know why it's like extended that much. But they need to be so extended. Right? I want this to be like you gotta go out and catch that platform. Kind of like that one jump on, I think it was 3. Yeah, I think. Oh my god, okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I just need to nerf it a little bit. And I'm gonna try to put 25. Let's see. Okay, this is me. Yeah, that's fine. I can look at that. So jump up here, go up, backwards, back up, oh crap. That up, go here, up, okay, so up and over, and then you just jump there. I don't know why that's not just like, it flows, but I keep missing the jumps, it's so annoying. Like, wow. I don't know what I'm doing. I should probably say that I did clear Purgatorio and the Hollow event. It was actually kind of fun. I would totally recommend it. It's pretty good. Honestly. Yeah, that's why. Oh, okay, I know what I need to do now. Okay. So I'm gonna set that to smooth. And then the jump is up perfectly. Because I'm good. I made it that way. Because I'm so good. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so I'm gonna make that 2, and then I need to like put this in there. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I'm gonna balance that part a little bit because it's a little bit difficult otherwise. It's gonna try 0.25 increments for that. Yeah, that jump's not hard. That's also not hard. That might be kind of hard. Yeah, that should be good, honestly. Like if I made the 0 and then like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. So that I just... Oh wait. Hold on, I didn't do that right. Zoom the button. ToSSP, guys. This is gonna be so sad. Okay. Ignore that. Ignore that I failed that. I should probably, since chapter 3, shouldn't I? Hold on, let me just go over to chapter 2, because like I need to. Why am I doing? Why is this Cliff Snips instead of Sparknuts? Like this is trash, dude. A separate piece, chapter 2. It's trash. It's so trash. Oh yeah, I didn't do that, did I? That's annoying. That's really annoying. Hold on, maybe do it this way. Maybe. Does that work? But okay. That could work with. I just need to do this next. I can do the 0.5 triangle. How did I say triangle? Reg. What am I saying, bro? Don't you love when you say triangle instead of reg? Okay, what am I doing? It's just so dumb. What the hell? Yeah, that's 359. That's 359. What the hell? Oh, it's just so bad. Where's my new piece? Right there. And there's one right there and right there. Oh, that's 900. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. What the hell? Slinky. Hold on. So. Let's stand this out by one. I think that'll work. Don't quote me on that. At least some lighting. Okay. That's in. That should work, I think. Just hit this one deactivator. Dude, why does it do that? Like, I hate that, bro. It's so annoying. I probably need to do this differently. Yeah, because you only need that much height to read out. Let's see. Let's just really doing that perfectly. Oh, wait, I'm an idiot. I just didn't mean that. What am I doing? I'm an idiot, man. This is Diddy. This is Diddy. This is Diddy. Actually, I don't think I'm gonna move this one up. So I won't. I'll just keep this in the same spot. Yeah, now it stops doing that. Like, damn, that was annoying. I was wondering why I was doing that. I don't even know why. Unchecked. Why did you unlock contact? Better lock it again. Yeah, lock it again, bro. Lock it. Anyways, chapter 3 time. Cause or first of all, so Prudham is a substitute teacher. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's funny. That's funny. Let's see this. Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay,
Yes,
last chapter.
he had practically saved my life. He'd also practically lost it for me. I wouldn't have been on that damn limb except for him. I wouldn't have turned around and so lost my balance if he hadn't been there. I didn't need to feel any tremendous rush of gratitude toward Phineas. The Super Suicide Society of the summer session was a success from the start. That night, Finney began to talk abstractedly about it, as though it were a venerable, entrenched institution of the Devon school. The half-dozen friends who were there in our room listening began to bring up small questions on details without ever quite saying that they had never heard of such a club. Schools are supposed to be catacombed with secret societies and underground brotherhoods, and as far as they knew, here was one which had just come to the surface. They signed up as trainees on the spot. We began to meet every night to initiate them. The charter members, E and I, had to open every meeting by jumping ourselves. This was the first of the many rules which Finney created without notice during the summer. I hated it. I never got inured to the jumping. At every meeting, the limb seemed higher, thinner, the deeper water harder to reach. Every time, when I got myself into position to jump, I felt a flash of disbelief that I was doing anything so perilous. But I always jumped. Otherwise I would have lost face with Phineas, and that would have been unthinkable. We met every night, because Finney's life was ruled by inspiration and anarchy, and so he prized a set of rules. His own, not those imposed on him by other people, such as the faculty of the Devon School. The Super Suicide Society of the summer session was a club. Clubs, by definition, met regularly. We met every night. Nothing could be more regular than that. To meet once a week seemed to him much less regular, entirely too haphazard, bordering on carelessness. I went along. I never missed a meeting. At that time, it never would have occurred to me to say, "I don't feel like it tonight," which was the plain truth, every night. I was subject to the dictates of my mind, which gave me the maneuverability of a straitjacket. "We're off, pal," Finney would call out, and acting against every instinct of my nature, I went without a thought of protest. As we drifted on through the summer, with this one inflexible appointment every day, classes could be cut, meals missed, chapel skipped, I noticed something about Finney's own mind which was such an opposite from mine. It wasn't completely unleashed after all. I noticed that he did abide by certain rules, which he seemed to cast in the form of commandments. Never say you were 5'9" when you were 5'8.5" was the first one I encountered. Another was, always say some prayers at night, because it might turn out that there is a God. But the one which had the most urgent influence in his life was, you always win at sports. This "you" was collective. Everyone always won at sports. When you played a game, you won, in the same way as when you sat down to a meal, you ate it. It inevitably and naturally followed. Finney never permitted himself to realize that when you won, they lost. That would have destroyed the perfect beauty which was sport. Nothing bad ever happened in sports. They were the absolute good. He was disgusted with that summer's athletic program. A little tennis, some swimming, clumsy softball games, badminton. Badminton, he exploded the day it entered the schedule. He said nothing else, but the shocked, outraged, despairing note of anguish in the word said all the rest. Badminton. At least it's not as bad as the seniors, I said, handing him the fragile racket and the fey shuttlecock. They're doing calisthenics. What are they trying to do? He swatted the shuttlecock the length of the locker room. Destroy us? Humor infiltrated the outrage in his voice, which meant that he was thinking of a way out. We went outside into the cordial afternoon sunshine. The playing fields were optimistically green and empty before us. The tennis courts were full. The softball diamond was busy. A pattern of badminton nets swayed sensually in the breeze. Finney eyed them with quiet astonishment. Far down the fields toward the river, there was a wooden tower about 10 feet high, where the instructor stood to direct the senior calisthenics. It was empty now. The seniors had been trotted off to the improvised obstacle course in the woods, or to have their blood pressure taken again, or to undergo an insidious exercise in the cage, which consisted in stepping up on a box and down again in rapid rhythm for 5 minutes. They were off somewhere, shaping up for the war. All of the fields were ours. Finney began to walk slowly in the direction of the tower. Perhaps he was thinking that we might carry it the rest of the way to the river and throw it in. Perhaps he was just interested in looking at it, as he was in everything. Whatever he thought, he forgot it when we reached the tower. Beside it, someone had left a large and heavy leather-covered ball. A medicine ball. He picked it up. Now this, you see, is everything in the world you need for sports. When they discovered the circle, they created sports. As for this thing, embracing the medicine ball in his left arm, he held up the shuttlecock, contaminated in his outstretched right. This idiot tickler, the only thing it's good for is eeny, meeny, miny, mo. He dropped the ball and proceeded to pick the feathers out of the shuttlecock, distastefully, as though removing ticks from a dog. The remaining rubber plug he then threw out of sight down the field, with a single lunge ending in a powerful downward thrust of his wrist. Badminton was gone. He stood balancing the medicine ball, enjoying the feel of it. All you really need is a round ball. Although he was rarely conscious of it, Finney was always being watched, like the weather. Up the field, the others at badminton sensed a shift in the wind. Their voices carried down to us, calling us. When we didn't come, they began gradually to come down to us. I think it's about time we started to get a little exercise around here, don't you? He said, cocking his head at me. Then he slowly looked around at the others with the expression of dazed determination he used when the object was to carry people along with his latest idea. He blinked twice and then said, "We can always start with this ball." "Let's make it have something to do with the war," suggested Bobby Zane. "Like a blitzkrieg or something." "Blitzkrieg," repeated Finney doubtfully. "We could figure out some kind of blitzkrieg baseball," I said. "We'll call it blitzkrieg ball," said Bobby. "Or just blitzball," reflected Finney. "Yeah, blitzball." Then, with an expectant glance around, "Well, let's get started." He threw the big, heavy ball at me. I grasped it against my chest with both arms. "Well, run," ordered Finney. "No, not that way. Toward the river. Run!" I headed toward the river, surrounded by the others in a hesitant herd. They sensed that in all probability they were my adversaries in blitzball. Don't hog it, Finney yelled. Throw it to somebody else. Otherwise, naturally, he talked steadily as he ran along beside me. Now that we've got you surrounded, one of us will knock you down. Do what? I veered away from him, hanging onto the clumsy ball. What kind of a game is that? Blitzball! Chet Douglas shouted, throwing himself around my legs, knocking me down. That naturally was completely illegal, said Finney. You don't use your arms when you knock the ball carrier down. You don't? Mumbled Chet from on top of me. No, you keep your arms crossed like this on your chest, and you just butt the ball carrier. No elbowing allowed either. All right, Gene, start again. I began quickly. Wouldn't somebody else have possession of the ball after? Not when you've been knocked down illegally. The ball carrier retains possession in a case like that. So it's perfectly okay. You still have the ball. Go ahead. There was nothing to do but start running again, with the others trampling with stronger will around me. Throw it, ordered Phineas. Bobby Zane was more or less in the clear, so I threw it at him. It was so heavy that he had to scoop my throw up from the ground. Perfectly okay, commented Finney, running forward at top speed. Perfectly okay for the ball to touch the ground when it's being passed. Bobby doubled back closer to me for protection. Knock him down, Finney yelled at me. Knock him down, are you crazy? He's on my team. There aren't any teams in blitzball, he yelled somewhat irritably. We're all enemies. Knock him down. I knocked him down. All right, said Finney as he disentangled us. Now you have possession again. He handed the leaden ball to me. I would have thought that possession passed naturally. You gained possession of the ball when you knocked him down. Run. So I began running again. Leper Lepellier was loping along outside my perimeter, not noticing the game, tagging along without reason like a porpoise escorting a passing ship. Leper! I threw the ball past a few heads at him. Taken by surprise, Leper looked up in anguish, shrank away from the ball, and voiced his first thought, a typical one. I don't want it! Stop! Stop! Cried Finney in a referee's tone. Everybody halted, and Finney retrieved the ball.
The ref is doing something.
He talked
guys.
better holding it. Now, Leper has just brought out a really important fine point of the game. The receiver can refuse a pass if he happens to choose to. Since we're all enemies, we can and will turn on each other all the time. We call that the Lepellier refusal. We all nodded without speaking. Here, Gene, the ball is, of course, still yours. Still mine? Nobody else has had the ball but me, for God's sake. They'll get their chance. Now, if you're refused 3 times in the course of running from the tower to the river, you go all the way back to the tower and start over. Naturally. Blitzball was the surprise of the summer. Everybody played it. I believe a form of it is still popular at Devon, but nobody can be playing it as it was played by Phineas. He had unconsciously invented a game which brought his own athletic gifts to their highest pitch. The odds were tremendously against the ball carrier, so that Phineas was driven to exceed himself practically every day when he carried the ball. To escape the wolf pack which all the other players became, he created reverses and deceptions and acts of sheer mass hypnotism which were so extraordinary that they surprised even him. After some of these plays, I would notice him chuckling quietly to himself in a kind of happy disbelief. In such a non-stop game, he also had the natural advantage of a flow of energy which I never saw interrupted. I never saw him tired, never really winded, never overcharged, and never restless. At dawn, all day long, and at midnight, Phineas always had a steady and formidable flow of usable energy. Right from the start, it was clear that no one had ever been better adapted to a sport than Finney was to blitzball. I saw that right away. Why not? He'd made it up, hadn't he? It needn't be surprising that he was sensationally good at it and that the rest of us were more or less bumblers in our different ways. I suppose it served us right for letting him do all the planning. I didn't really think about it myself. What difference did it make? It was just a game. It was good that Finney could shine at it. He could also shine at many other things, with people, for instance, the others in our dormitory, the faculty. In fact, If you stop to think about it, Finney could shine with everyone. He attracted everyone he met. I was glad of that too. Naturally, he was my roommate and my best friend.
This ends Disc 1.
Wait, that's the end? Oh my god. Bro, dude, really? Yo, so annoying, bro. So annoying, so annoying. So annoying. What is the summary of that? So, I get Blitzball. That's... CPC sensitivity. 6 others playing Blitzball. A medicine ball? What is that? Hold on, I need to look that up. I've never seen that before. I mean, heard that before. What is it? What is that? Oh, interesting. It doesn't even have anything to do with the medical stuff. It's just like... okay. Okay. Wow, what a nice story. So, what happened to this guy, Finney? Because this guy's just like recalling his past about the school he went to, and this guy called Finney, but like we never know what happened to him. Oh wait, now that I think about it, this was set after World War II, so maybe he's like lost in somewhere that he died, or like he just doesn't know where he is anymore. Wow, what happened to him? Is that like based off of a real story? Wait, I actually need to know. I was gonna teach her after the reading check, but definitely interesting, I'll say. So, this is definitely where the stream gets interesting now, because I'm not listening to that anymore, so you know what I'm gonna listen to instead? It's called Blind Angel. You ever heard of it? It's pretty cool. Let's go. Okay.
Build a website you love with Wix. For your words,
That is so satisfying. Yo. If you turn that perfectly, that is the best jump in the time. Easily. Yo. Who's in my tower? That's so hard because you gotta make a perfect turn. Ooh, perpetual descent. Let's go. Oh my god, baby, this song's fire, god. There we go. That's such a good song. love this style. It's peak, bro. Like, this is such a fun thing. Oh god. So, oh, there's a central mastery. What? Everything, what do we even listen to? Oh, that one. That's the guy. Yo, I'm getting so many likes right now. I've got like 123. Yo! Oh, this is speed. Oh, I should probably listen to the outros already. Oh! Well, I'm probably going to increase brightness. It's quite dark down here. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I was like, I swear it's so dark in ToFM. Like, I do not like that. I want every floor to be visible. Like, okay, what am I doing? This is like extreme damage right now. Oh, okay, so that did not work. Okay, I have it already. So what I'm probably gonna do? Oop! I did not know 5 was that close. Wow. That jump's just so good. Like, it just comes out. It's great. And probably make that like somewhat difficult. Okay, maybe not that difficult. That's good. That's good. I like that. Wait, okay. 6-7. You know, the terrifying part is that actually kind of works. Like, hold on. Oh, my hands. Hold on. Ow, that hurts. Ooh. Ow. Oh my god, that actually hurts. Oh my god. Oh, bro. You just joined me. I just checked the chat. Shout out to Chech for playing guitar because he's like the goat. Trust. Bro, my hands, bro. How? Yo. That's so much, dude. I swear. Also, hi 11, how are you doing? How are you doing, bro? That solves a problem because it doesn't just want a VC, yeah, why not? I just don't say the word, obviously, you know what word I'm talking about. Wait, hold on a second. Okay, try bet. Dude, I swear, like, okay, whenever I like see something in my tower in like a public server on Tower Creator, I don't know what it is about me, and I don't know if like this happens to anyone else, but like I swear, like it's just I don't even like I don't know why. Like it's crazy. So I'm getting 2 pings right now. For stuff like that, you can extend the glass part and make the zero transparency part cancel and false. I could just make the bottom of it false, like I already did. Like, whatever, bro. I can find the damn jump, that'd be nice. Where is it? Oh, there it is. This might be like peak extreme right now, and I'm underrating it. Like, well, I did end button corner, so I mean, I hope that helps. With both the enjoyment and the difficulty. I swear, if this tower gets exported and it's like in a playable game, Tech's probably gonna beat it and call it like low insane, I reckon. Like, Tech's underrates are genuinely like crazy. Like, I don't know how. Like, they think ToFM is a mid-tier one. I'm not like hating or anything, but that's just crazy. Wow. I did not know quantum quadrillion. Oh shit. I did not know quantum quadrillion until I'm apparently in the same subject level. But here we are. I should have seen that. Yeah. That jump doesn't come out as well if this isn't a stat. See, like that extends properly. That just comes out now. Love that. That's how you really extend properly. No, stop. Gotta tilt this over a little bit. So we're gonna make it 2 sets and this. Hopefully the jump plays better. Yeah, that works. I like that. I like that. I like that. Hold on, I gotta actually join VC. Hold on, I'm forgetting about it. I'm forgetting. Bro, why did Ari die? Oh, it's so annoying. What even happened here? Oh, okay, so that's annoying. Around 90? Yeah, okay. I can remember it was a little bit weird than I did. What I'm gonna do for this ice block, I'm probably just gonna do this to it, or gotta fill up the space here somehow. Oh, wait, that plays out nicely. Okay. That looks beautiful, I like that. I just gonna top this off with the corner wedge up here. Why did I say yes? Because that looks amazing. I love it. Call CC, call C, so that when you have the gameplay. Oh, it's Aaron. I don't know if he's watching my stream. If you are, what's up? Hi, how are you? Bro. Yo, oh my god, finally someone showed up. What's up? Oh shoot. Why was I deafened? Yeah, what's up? What's up? What's up? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Am I muted? Hello?
Yo.
Oh, you sound different. Are you on your phone?
Yeah.
What's up?
What you need me for?
Bro, you said you were gonna VC.
Oh yeah, right.
Yo, did you forget?
Yeah.
You said it like 3 seconds
Yeah.
ago, man. Alright, bro.
Oops.
What do you mean, oops? Bro?
I love her.
Where are you even playing?
Huh?
Where are you even playing?
I'm in my bed
Oh, okay.
right now.
So that's why you forgot, because you realized it was late.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. What time is it for you right now?
10:24.
Oh, okay. Not crazy, but
And it's gonna be.
yeah.
I mean,
It's not the
I'm going
worst that's happened.
I mean, it's a school day tomorrow, so
I mean, I guess, but
yeah. I mean, you also have realized tomorrow, like, the worst times are always on the weekends.
that's actually fair.
Because you can get away with it.
Yeah, bro. How did you manage to stay up until what was your latest time? I forgot.
3:40.
Yeah. Yo, it was so bad. Like, how did you manage to do that? Who is him? What? What is that? Oh my, that's bad. Dude, I just clicked on my DMs and I see this image of one of my friends building a really thin ladder. Oh, that's bad. Oh wait. Oh
wow.
My god. You're gonna have to wrap around. Oh my, yo. I am not playing that. It's fun. Ooh, that's buns. Oh my god. And hold on. That's the top part, and what that makes me very, very uncomfortable. Why is that not aligned? It's not aligned, mate.
You won't believe me when I say this. Start block me again. Start block me again, bro.
How's star? Dude, what's star on like lately?
Dude, I genuinely don't know this
Don't know
time.
either,
Like,
bro.
I genuinely don't know. I just I just went into
swear
VC
Star's
and
on something, bro.
he's on a geek bar, bruh.
Literally.
On gas. Okay.
Oh, it's not done.
Okay, literally, I went into VC, said hi to him. I think he left, and then blocked me.
Literally, why?
I don't know. I think it.
Why either?
Huh?
He's not telling you why either. Like,
No, I know.
I don't understand. Like, what is he? What's the aim here?
Dude, I don't know. How to do fucking Sherlock Holmes every time I want to talk to even understand why I got blocked, bro.
Literally.
Dude, I'm not dealing with this, bro.
Yeah, bro. I don't know what stars. I don't know why he's just been keep blocking you. Like, I don't know what he's doing. Like, what the mango dude.
Okay.
Get him over.
Okay, I'm gonna just go. Okay. I overthink, like, a lot of things whenever, like, people block me. Like, maybe, like, ever since, like, we talked things out, I just be glazing star. And maybe a tone, maybe, like, says I am a dick for some reason. I don't know.
What?
So, like, that's it. I don't know. I will say, good job, Star. Hopefully, you beat the
What
beat.
is this passive aggressiveness, by the way? Like, literally no communication whatsoever. Like that.
Dude, I don't know.
What is going on right now?
Dude, I just say, oh, sorry. Hopefully, you beat the tower.
I don't know if he took that as like an ego thing or something.
Dude, I don't know. Okay, like, I'm not gonna
I don't
fucking
even know
play
either.
this game.
I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. I'm just not gonna deal with this, bro. I'm just gonna try to forget everything about this, and then move on with my day. I don't really talk in kid world. Or this time, but like, what? I don't know.
Shout out to Cyber and the Luna. Real. You're right. Off topic, but this tower is really fun to build. I know I've said this a million times, but I really mean it. It's so good.
Okay, like, if you block someone, why are you still talking to them?
Exactly, bro.
Is this dude
Makes
fucking
even
retarded?
less sense, like-
At that point, just keep me added and keep me muted in VC.
Yeah, bro, why is this guy grinding vacant hindrances as a new hardest? Whatever, bro. You remember Aaron J12?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know why. Like, okay.
Wait, what's this artist? Like, I forgot.
Raging Tempest, I think.
Oh, you being that? Good job.
Yeah, he was the guy who struggled with inevitable failure before he left our group chat original.
Okay.
He was best friends with, I think, Red and Zorbit, if I remember correctly.
Okay. I mean, I think he just wants to get his technical gameplay up. So he's doing.
There's TLCR. Actually, now that I think about it, I did tell him not to do that tower. So that could be why.
It's also the fact that, like, some people prefer to do vacant over TLCR.
Yeah,
Here were
because
some.
TLCR is so bad. Oh my god.
It's because, like, it's way more, like, shorter. and like, I don't know. It's more consistent than TOCR.
Bro, everything.
Also,
is
apparently,
more
had to use a
consistent
roll
than
because it's not netted for like up until 10.
Doesn't TOCR only get consistent on like one day of the grind? And that being the last?
I get more consistent once you get past first net.
Also, my bad, Aaron. Okay, well, I mean, we've all had mind blocks, right? I struggled on
Yeah.
TOUA, you struggled on TOIF. Okay, we're the same.
TOIM?
IF, and whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And then two. What's
Bro, I have a
another thing?
horrible mind block on A and 9 on Elysium before
Oh,
being
damn.
it. Especially 9, bruh. I got 9 times 8 before being it.
Yeah, bro, that jump plays out so weirdly. Like, it's... I don't know why. I think I just need to position it differently. It'll play out nicely. You can't call this Terry.
What?
Bro, what do you mean? Like, do you think it's terrifying?
Wait, me?
No, I'm talking to someone in the TC chat. Do you think it's terrifying, bro? Because I don't.
Well,
Well,
that's
actually, to be
good.
fair, it's probably harder than polynomial C camera control. Maybe.
Okay, I played
You
a
should
bit
add more
up like
indication.
half a
Yeah.
4.
Oh my god, I've seen that so much. Like everyone tells me that it's so. Like I literally do not
Okay,
know
the
how
first
that.
3 fours are literally like low extreme or baseline extreme. But like floor 4 is actually where it starts to start throwing punches. And it's probably like low Terry. So if you keep it up with
Okay,
floor
yes.
4 difficulty, that might be Terry.
It's four isn't even that hard. I don't think it is.
No,
And
no,
there's button progress too. So I mean.
oh yeah, right. I forgot. I mean, still, this bra is kind of hard for extreme.
Well, I mean, it's not that much harder than 1 to 3. I mean, I don't struggle that much with 4 personally, so I don't notice it.
It's probably because you got used to the gameplay and like you already learned it. So
Oh yeah, because I'm the one building it, so of course it's not gonna get harder for me.
you're probably going like underrated than what it actually is.
Yeah,
Because like you
that's
already
right.
know what to do.
Well, I mean, you guys said it was good where I put it too, so.
Oh yeah, my bad. I meant like I don't know how to describe it, bruh.
No, I know what
Like-
you mean. I know what you mean. I'm just saying, like you guys said, I was good where I put it too, so.
Like,
yeah.
oh, like it's good where it is right now, but like when you start to like build like harder gameplay, it would just like increase the difficulty by a lot. Like the harder, like if it progressively gets harder, the like per floor, it just goes like actually difficulty by a lot.
It's for that hard. Wait,
It's not
okay,
that
wait, you should. Oh wait, you're in your bed. Never mind. I was gonna say you should play 4-4 in its current state, and then I was like, oh wait, you're in your bed. Can you wall hop what? What are you talking about?
Oh, Cyber.
Oh, yeah, you can. Where are you even gonna go? Like, there's nowhere to go. Yeah, you can wall hop the frame, but like.
In a span of 15 minutes, no, 15
Like,
minutes. I
Where do you
did
even
the
go? Like, cause like that's an extremely easy wall hop. But yeah, that wall hop's super easy, but like. Oh wait. Oh my god, that's annoying. So I need to patch that. Can't get back here. What do you want me to do about that? Hold on, why did I do that? That's my question. I did that for a reason. I don't know why I did that. Yeah, that's CC false. I don't know why.
Dude, I don't know.
These should both feature, not the last one. Oh, that's why it's not playing out. It's because it's tilted wrong. Oh. Okay, yeah, I naturally go that way. I'm gonna set the moving points there. I naturally go that way when I do that. So yeah, now that plays out. Now that plays out nicely. Yeah, I was like so confused on what I was doing. I was like that, I did not like that.
Apparently, like I saw Addison like warn everyone that has the fund like role that is like affiliated heavily with the verse.
Yeah,
Like he was like warning people that weren't even like active, like in TTC.
Yeah, Addison's like they just like muting people they don't like at this point. It's like infuriating.
Literally, like
why did Alyssa get muted? Because yeah, they
Alyssa
take
got muted.
Yeah, they take everything as a joke. Yeah, but I mean, they didn't break any rules. I don't know what the reason is there.
Alyssa was like chick talking Addison behind his back, allegedly.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. To
Maybe.
a degree. Yeah.
It depends on what, because that's way too vague. If it's on how he managed its server, then like that's just not fair.
That's just not fair. I doubt it's because of that though, because Addison's a good manager of the server.
He is.
It's just like,
but low-key, like in the past few weeks, he's being a fucking crash out. I can't lie.
Addison,
yeah.
That's right.
I mean, technically, we are talking about behind his back.
Imagine if Hornet's nail was actually a drill and she pierced the heavens with it, like the power. Okay. How would I even imagine that? Sorry, what were you saying, Rowan?
Like, we're technically, like, talking about Aslan behind his back. But, like, we're not saying, like, bad or harm to him.
Exactly.
So it's not bad.
It's just like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
That's how vague, like, quote unquote, talking to someone's behind their back means. Like, how vague it is.
I had corner wedges all these if I want to. Yes, Aaron. Is this a ToCap reference? It is a ToCap reference. I'm glad you recognize it. It is a ToCap reference. Oh my god, yo, I hate you. ToCap is literally the best terrifying. Like, whatever, bro. Like, easily the best terrifying. There's literally nothing that beats that. Like, it's just that good. I don't know what to tell you. Who is that?
Cyber. So, you want to know my quantum continuum experience is? Set reading it? Cyber.
Yeah. What about quantum whatever it's called?
Yeah, I set read up to 9C.
You sight read,
Almost
bro?
like-
That's crazy. What?
Okay. Loki, like, I got to B-side, failed it once, and then got there again. Got to net, and then did and then almost fell. Like, you know, it's like, oh my gosh.
Take your time.
I got net, right?
Yes.
I spent a total of like an hour and a half just like loop filling like the floors on it before I got.
Oh
B-side.
my dude, yes, Frozen, that's so bad on your first run. Oh my god. On your first
On
run
your-
only though, it's like it gets very consistent.
It probably gets way more consistent. I was like learning the tower as well. So you know, like when you clip back in after 9 out, there's a silhouette, right?
Yeah.
I followed it to its exact point, and it turns out I need to do it on its other side.
So how'd you fail then? Did you just like not hold? Or well, why did I say that?
No, like I followed like the silhouette. Turns out I need to do that silhouette to the other side to make the jump because I went the wrong way entirely.
Oh. Wait, this was on 9 outside, I think?
Yeah, I clicked the 9 in, but I failed. Like the transition between 9 out and 9 in. Like, do you get that?
Kind of.
I don't know. I need to show you that tomorrow.
Yeah, show me that tomorrow. Wait, yeah.
Okay. Because I remember there's a mannequin that was like heading to the right instead of the left. So, I don't know. Where I'm going.
You going to bed?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good night. Oh, I got you. Yeah, it is Where are you? I just see Wowza. Just see Wowza. Yeah. How did you get there? What? You just... Wait, what? Like, that does not make sense. Hold on. That's a teleporter, right? Yeah. Gotta make that bigger. Right. What's his PV? I'm just gonna like talk instead of like typing. 7. Oh my, yeah, bro. Dude, I remember like when my PV was 7 on ToFM. Dude, like after I got that run, bro, I like actually started smiling. Like it made me like jump out of my chair. I was like, just like running around the room. It's fun. It was like great. A 1.5. Oh my god. He's on ToFM in 1.5 months. That is crazy. Why are these new gens getting out here? Okay, so you'll see a random like new Jason player, and they're like, it'll be like the best person, the best player on planet Earth within like 3 months or whatever. There'd be like Unreal skill like within 8 months, bro. It's crazy. I don't even know how. The stream's so delayed. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't like do anything about that. Oh, wait, that's a trust. Hold on. My trust isn't styled properly. Nice. Good luck on sanitation. Yes, thank you. Good luck on vacant hindrances. TC false, right? Oh my god, that's annoying. You're 26 years. I am screenshotting that. I am screenshotting. Okay, that's fine. But wow, that's crazy. Like, whoa. I should make that jump a little bit farther, out than it is right now. Maybe. Yeah, what the hell is selected? Like, what is that, man? Gotta hit control so many times. 28 over 26 years ago. Oh, that is so funny. So then what I'll do is I'll make that. Leave that in there. See how that plays out. Oh, that's hard. Okay. I want that to be like just the right there. Yeah, probably don't need to do it that way. I don't do this, so want this down. Okay, so that's gonna make it hard for that area. So I'm going to move this. This is 1.25, or this twice, and this once. Yeah, now that's good. I'm feeling tired. No, that sounds annoying. That I like cannot stand like a technical gameplay towers. Like technical realism is so bad in my opinion. Oh my god. Well, I mean, then again, you don't see it in my tower, so you know. To make that fade faster, like maybe like point. Oh, okay. Nope, 25. Thank you. I should probably also buff this like that. Go, 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 go! You passed the hardest of 5 guys. Gonna start cooking really fast. I did that for all of them, right? I'm stupid, right? No, I'm going to assume that's a false one, knowing bacon units is right. Bro, isn't 6 like one of the hardest floors on ToDIE? Alright. Yeah, bacon's mad annoying. Yeah, you too, bro. Oh, okay, so that's annoying. I'm gonna move this up to high extreme. Just high extreme, yeah. Make this 0 for a second. Is London streaming this? What is he doing, bro?
If you start using this one free tool to make your videos, you'll never feel bad about spending $10 on an ice cream. TikTok Studio is that great.
11 people. Alright, I'm just gonna finish this jump up and then carry straight. So here it is. That's great. I love that joke. That's a good one. What? I'm screenshotting that. I'm screenshotting that. Yo. Just check the chat and that's the first thing I see. That's nice. Okay, so I'll make that a cylinder, and then wait. And how's this thing oriented? Oh. Anyway, I need to tilt this to 90 first. Oh, why am I hitting clone? Stop. Okay. So I need to tilt that to 90 first, and then clone it, and then make that a cylinder. And then it'll play a lot nicer. Yeah, that's gonna get so satisfying. Wait. That's gonna be so satisfying. Might have to move that up though. I like 2 studs, and then we go. So go. Such a hard job. Who could have possibly... This jump's just hard. Or maybe it's not that hard, but you know. That's kind of hard. I'm playing it. Yeah, I know why. This is just a bad transition. Okay, so now that part should be done. Right? That jumps hard. Well, and so is this one. High extremes are, by the way. God, that's so consistent, though. It's so consistent, dude. Like, it's so consistent. start the recording here when I'm done. It's quite a good chunk of gameplay too. Alright, well, I'm ending stream now. Goodbye, guys. I hope you enjoyed me. Subliminal abstraction. I think I should finish 4 next session, so stay tuned for that. 5 is going to be made soon, and that's going to mark the second. So, see you guys.